Now that we have RCF installed on our device, we actually want to know what RCF can do for us, and we want to basically explore all the features. So obviously, the first and foremost, it's a network camera framework. One of the biggest features is it captures video and audio from the camera sensors and the microphones on board, and it streams over the network. So there are two ways to do it. We can view the stream on web UI, which I will show in a few moments. The streams are also available over RTSP. One of the most well-known RTSP clients is the VLC media player. So let me first start by demonstrating how to view an RTSP stream created by our QCS6490 smart camera dev kit that we just installed RCF on, and how to view that in VLC. So we would open our VLC media player. We'll go to the media menu, open network stream. This is generally the format of the URL to access the RTSP streams generated by RCF running on our 6490 device. It starts with the IP address, and the port number by default is 554. But that could be changed. We'll see that option on the web UI when we get to it. The last part of this, so live 1 S1 basically tells me that it's going to capture from the first camera, and this is the first stream of the first camera. For more details on what I mean by streams, please refer to the user guide. But one short summary is that video captured from the same camera sensor could be processed differently based on different settings. That content is made available over different streams for the same sensor. On RCF, sensor 1 can have 1 or 2 streams, and both streams could have different video settings and different audio settings. And that is, and all streams are available at the same time. Starting with the demonstration of the RTSP stream viewing in VLC. This is the first one. So let's open the first stream of the first sensor and hit play. It basically shows me the stream right there. If we want to view the second sensor, we can do the same thing. To change it, so I'll change this 1 to a 2, which means we will view the first stream of the second sensor. Actually, let's view the second stream of the second sensor. So we change the stream number and the sensor number and the stream number both. When I hit play, so the last time we opened this, it did not ask me for my username and password, right? That is because I had just opened it in the session. This stream I had not opened, so it's asking. And in the first one as well, it would have asked if this was not the second time I had opened it. So after I entered the username and password I had created, this is basically the second stream of the second sensor. In VLC Media Player, one easy way to view additional information about a stream is through the media information dialog, which I opened from Tools, Media Information, or Codec Information. Codec Information will bring me straight to this page. So over here we can see the resolution, frame rate, the codec being used to encode video and audio, and then the sample rate for the audio. Statistics is, it gives you detailed statistics of how much information has been received. I'll stop this over here, right here. And this format of the streams, or this URL, is also mentioned in the user guide, RCF user guide. More details and basically the URL for every single one of the streams, all 4 streams that are available by default on a dual sensor system, is available from that document, which you can easily access. Or it's very easy, you can just mention it here this way. Now that we've seen how to access the RTSP streams generated by RCF, let's move on to our web UI. So until now we have created one administrator account. So I will use that account to log into my web UI, and as soon as I log in, I am presented with every stream of every sensor that is connected on the system. Sensor 1 main and substream, sensor 2 main and substream. And if we hover over this eye, it basically gives us an overview of the settings that apply to that stream. We can see that resolution is this, video codec is this, audio codec is this. And these settings could be different from both of these streams. So we can view it in full screen like this, or we can change the resolution from here. We can also start and stop recording of this. So one of the big features of RCF is the ability to record every stream available on the system simultaneously. So if we wish, we could be recording all 4 of these at the same time. We can either start and stop recording manually from here, or we could set up a recording schedule. I just went to this storage setup, recording status. Manually we can start and stop from here, or we can enable the schedule. RCF will automatically record this particular stream based on the schedule specified here. So that is one of the big features. Such schedule can be set for every stream available on the system. Sensor 1 main and substream, sensor 2 main and substream. Content management. So while we're talking about recording, obviously all the recordings that have happened in the past, we want to be able to view and search through those and basically add and remove and download those, right? So this page basically will give you that. You can search relative to the current time, or you can search in an absolute date and time range, and then the list generally shows up here if I have any data in this device. We don't. So the recordings are saved on the SD card. Looks like this device, we forgot to insert the SD card in there. But if there were recordings, there will be a list over here. We can click on the recording names. The recording will start playing in a pop-up overlay right here. We can even download that recording, and then we can even delete that recording from here. So you can manage the recorded content from this page. So let's go back to the live view page. So the live view page, we already know the audio is recorded as well. By default, this live view page starts up with no audio playback or speakers muted. You could enable the speaker to hear the audio that's being captured from the microphones. I have mentioned different settings for every stream. So how can we configure that? We see that we can set the resolution and the basic stuff. But for any stream, if we wish to look at more detailed settings that are available for that, we click on this gear icon. And clicking on this gear icon will take us to the camera setup and video settings page. This page, basically for the selected sensor and the stream of that sensor, we could choose the codec, we could choose the resolution, we could choose any of these settings for that stream. And when we hit save, that setting is applied to that sensor right then. As soon as this progress bar finishes, we see the success. We go back to this, and we had set the mainstream resolution to 4K, and this was before it was 720p. So we could do the same thing for all the other settings as well. So these are available, and these could be different for every stream, and that is the benefit of having RCF. It can manage multiple different settings for the same sensor. So going to on the camera setup, going to general settings. So every stream can have a name. It can have a title. The overlay that this thing is talking about is, in addition to the name, we can specify where to show the overlay. And the overlay is basically this. It may not be very visible, but in full screen we can see. So we can set the name, and we can set, and we can also show the date now. And obviously we can hide this if we need to, but this is available as an option. So overlay date and time can be shown on the video, and the title that we set over here can be shown on the video, one or two or both. Same for audio. We can select the audio codec, we can select the sampling rate, we can even disable audio capture altogether. So we say we don't really care about the audio, just save some disk space and disable audio capture entirely. Image settings lets us set for each sensor. Let's us set image parameters like these four. It lets us set the white balance to auto or manual, and the additional feature it has is it also has a profile mode. So basically a profile mode is where you can save a collection of settings, a white balance and image adjustment settings, and you can apply those settings within a specific time range. So between this time and this time, these settings will be applied. So that's profile mode. And normal light mode is basically you can manually set these, and as long as you don't change it manually, this is how they would remain. Let's change the brightness. Let's make it blue. So we change the brightness, we change the blue gain to really high value, and everyone looks like they're from the movie Avatar. But okay, let's not save this. If we don't save this, we just restore it. It goes back to the default values, and we'll see the effect of the default values soon enough. Right? We're back to the default image tuning. Same for exposure. We can set the measurement window, average, center, spot for each sensor. So these settings are for each sensor, not for every stream. Exposure level, exposure mode. We want to set the exposure time. Then we can do it from here. ISO, we can set it manually or set it to auto, either way. These are the exposure settings. Privacy mask, effectively, let's say if I wanted to respect the privacy of my colleague here, I can mask him and enable the privacy mask on the sensor 1 mainstream, and then I can hit save. Basically, this rectangle would be blacked out. It's technically dark gray, but it's easier to say blacked out. That was a preview, but even if we go to the home page or the main live view page, this is how it would look. And on the second stream, it's not there. This is one of the benefits. So on one of the streams, we can have different settings. On the second stream, we can have different settings. One example would be in an exam, the teacher would see the unmasked video and the student would see the masked video where the answer is masked. So that's one example, but there could be many more use cases. That's the privacy mask we talked about. The big latest features we have in RCF are the AI features. So there's object detection, there's object classification, and then there's this segmentation. Segmentation where it basically draws a boundary around detecting objects and basically isolates each object separately. If I try to demonstrate all of these, it may be a very long video, but these features are available. We can enable these modules one at a time, and then we can look, and we can. There's also an option to upload a custom module if we need to. An example of custom module is something that you would download from Qualcomm AI Hub. We could download custom modules from AI Hub. We could upload it over here, and the object classification feature of RCF will run that module instead of the default one that's included with RCF. So that's also an option. We can set the confidence threshold, ML engines. Currently it's only TF Lite, but in one of the future versions, Snappy SNPE will be available as well. There may be more module types available too, but currently MobileNet is supported for object classification. For object detection, SSD MobileNet and YOLO V5M is supported. These are AI features included in RCF. Now let me give an overview of the other administrative features that RCF provides that someone using RCF will not have to do it themselves. These are some things that every network camera would have to have. So, and if RCF has it already implemented, that basically cuts your time to develop these. So you can set QCS6490 DevKit has two networking interfaces on it. Wired, it has an Ethernet port, as we saw. It also has a Wi-Fi interface. So we could enable or disable Wi-Fi in the Wi-Fi interface, and we could set IP address to a dynamically, basically DHCP or static IP address setting. Either one of these could be set. So these are the networking settings. Both interfaces can be enabled at the same time, and RCF could be accessed through any of the interfaces. Streaming protocols. If you remember, I had mentioned that we could change the port of the RTSP stream URL. Here's how you could do it. So changing the port from here would basically change the port over which RTSP streams are served. Same goes for the HTTP web server, the web UI port. If we want to set it to anything other than the default port 80. We already talked about the storage management, where we can set up recording schedules. We can view existing recordings and do a lot of stuff with it. These are the general settings. We can set the device host name effectively. So this is basically how the device identifies on the network. Time setting. We could set time synchronization. So the device time, no change. The device time could be synchronized with the time of the host computer, which is this one. We could set the time manually, or we could set the time to be synchronized with an NTP server. In this case, it's this. If this field is left blank, the default NTP server configured in RCF will be used. and the update interval can be configured as well. So these are the time synchronization. I'm not saving it, but if you save it, the settings apply. Maintenance. Yeah, there's an option to import and export the entire configuration for the device. All the options that we've seen that could be configured on all of the other pages, we could import or export that configuration database. Firmware upgrades. While we were installing the RCF package for the first time over on the ADB shell, I had mentioned that there's an easier way. This is where it is. So I could choose the update package from here, and then just upgrade straight away. And this update package will be installed on the device, and the device will reboot after a couple of minutes. You'll have the newly installed RCF running on the device. So it's very convenient this way. The ADB method has to be used to install RCF only for the very first time after we install an OS update or a fresh brand new device, right? After that, it's convenient. We can reboot the device from here. We could restore the settings that we had exported over here. We could restore those settings from here, and we can basically so when we click on restore, it basically resets to default, and we can preserve the network and the camera config if we so choose to. So it restores resets the settings default, and it would reboot the device. And so I guess since I clicked on restore, we must wait for the device to reboot. We'll be right back after the device reboots. We are back at the login page. Okay, we're back after the reboot that we had caused around this. So the next section is the user account section. We know that we already created this administrator account, which was the first account that we created, which by default is an administrator. By default, RCF provides two privilege levels, administrator and viewer. Viewer does not have the authority to change any of the settings. Administrator can do anything they want with the system. This page will let us create new accounts, or it would let us modify existing accounts, change the privilege levels. This may be a mistake. If this is the only account, changing it to viewer, basically you'll be locked out of making any changes again. So bad idea, but you get the idea. So add and remove user accounts. License management. So RCF provides a license manager where you can install a license to the device, which would be either for a limited period of time. The license could be locked to a specific device, or it could be a general time-limited license, not device lock license, or it could be a lifetime license. There are multiple types of license, as I mentioned, available, and based on which one is uploaded, either there will be a date and time of expiry listed over here, or lifetime would be listed over here, meaning that a lifetime license is installed on this device at the moment. A new license file could be uploaded from this UI, and the license file will be provided by eInfoChips upon request. The next section of this UI, which is probably the last section, there's an option to search through several log files on the device, and specific log files, as a matter of fact, and search through them, export them, download them, delete them, clear all logs. All of these options apply to logs. Health monitor. We can look at what the internal resources of the device are doing. CPU, memory, storage. Storage only talks about the microSD card at the moment. Device info. This basically gives us version information, a model of the device, and the serial number. This comes in handy when trying to identify the device uniquely and trying to figure out which software is installed on the device. So this was a quick overview of how to install eInfoChips reusable camera framework. We hope you liked it, and please do share your feedback. Thank you very much. Have a good time.